Proudmasculine live on the drive. Um, I have about a 1 hour commute from here, and I wanted to jump on. I've been doing let me say the date. Live, January 15th, quick live on the drive. And, I've been going live at night with my regular 100 push-up for 100-day challenge check-in live. And it's been late. So, by the time I get that late, and then it's an hour-long live, by the end of it, I'm just toasted. I can't really function. And I've been having some stuff I want to talk about. So I figured, why not? I'm not on the phone. I don't have any phone calls to return today. I'm on the drive. What's up, Sweet Pea? Doing well. Thank you. I'm actually feeling lively. I'm on my drive home. I don't have any phone calls to return. I've already done that. And I have about an hour left to the drive. So I figured I'd jump on and actually be able to talk about some stuff I've been wanting to talk about in the lives. But lately, by that time of night, I've just been exhausted. I mean, I still like to get on and get something going. Hey, Maya. Maya, I see you didn't email me, huh? So I figured, why not, while I have the opportunity here, and I actually have the energy. And, I've been concerned about my attendance and lives have been rarely low ever since I had that rant about, what's up, Carlton? Ever since I had that rant about the kitty diddlers, I've been bumped way down in the algorithm. Obviously, I've been shadow banned. And I wanted to see if maybe another time slot caught me during my drive home. What a coincidence. Aloha. Thank you. So anyway, this is actually something, the things I discuss, the topics I talk about to make the topic of the lives, are things that I deal with day to day, things I've dealt with myself, and things I deal with currently between clients, and sometimes just in conversation with peers or anybody. It could be a conversation I have at the gym. Look, I'll tell y'all, I'm not a big small talk kind of guy. I'm not fantasy football, the McRibs out. Oh, did you see that TV show? I'm not that guy. Usually when I'm in conversation with somebody, it has some depth and meaning. I want to know how your fucking money is. How's your business going? What your plans doing? What's that thing we talked about last time? How's that shaking out? How's your relationship going? Like, I don't know. I've always been very inquisitive like that. Not much for small talk, though. I don't know, you could say that's a quality and a liability socially. I think when people try to small talk me, why you want to know that kind of shit about me? But I like depth. That's just how I am. I've always been like that. So anyway, what's up, Darren? Doing well, bub. Yeah, you're right, Sweet Pea. Thank you, Kulana. He says, nice green eyes, host. So that's what I mean, Sweet Pea. There's some way higher ups that don't want us talking about that. Don't want to hear about they don't want my sentiment spreading. They're trying to push that shit in favor of the other side. And I just don't think that's going to happen. Not on my watch, anyway. But anyhow, I'll just have to be more selective about the words I use. And as we do more lives, we'll all get familiar with what I mean. We'll make it obvious what I'm talking about. but that's not something I'll be going over a lot. The topic came up, spur of the moment, and there's just something about that triggers a primal side of me that gets me fired up, puts me in protection mode. And I've had a little bit of that growing up. I was fondled a little bit, and I'm telling you, it's not a good experience as a kid. So, and I didn't even have it bad. To have people who terrorize the little chillins. And anyway, I'm not even going to get off into that. So, anyhow, I'm not going to be looking at the comments much, y'all. I'm just coming on here to jaw a little bit and talk about what I've been wanting to talk about. Like I said, I get into my 100 push-up lives at night. And by that time of the night, I'm spent, y'all. I'm done. I'm exhausted. And this is me beginning the second half of my day. My days don't end till late, but that's the way I like it. I arrange my life like that on purpose. Kyle said, Cal, masculinity to me is being a good person, do what's right, even if it's a hard choice. Yes, that's definitely one aspect of masculinity. You're correct. So, that's kind of going to bring me into my topic. Cal, thank you for saying that about the hard choice. And I've run into this. He's not a client any longer. He's pretty much found his own way. See, guys come to me, and I tell them from the get-go, like, look, I'm not here to make you a lifetime repeat customer. I'm here to get you moved in the right direction on a focused program of action. And then you take enough reps, then you can kind of pick it up from your own there. And that's my goal, is to have you coaching yourself. And well, this guy has done really well. But what stuck out to me is toward the middle of the process. And it's basically, guys come to me, and I think broken's a strong word, but incredibly set back. It's typically out of a breakup. That's probably 97% of guys that come to me is out of breakups, or having struggled in their relationship, their current relationship, or having problems dating. But breakups that's the majority of my clientele. And that's okay, because that's one of the most difficult times in a man's life, is experiencing that. But it's also one of the most critical and important times. So, one of the things that are part of my directive is fitness, the physical transformation. Right, you see, Tripathy? That's a lot of men do that. A lot of men have these profound realizations after breakups. Excuse me. A breakup can be heartbreak. Is probably the best thing that can happen to men. And I tell that when guys that are fresh out of a breakup, they're, oh my God, I need it back. What do I do? And I'm like, pal, you navigate this right. You're going to look back in a year and realize that this is the best thing that's ever happened to you. You're going to look back in 5 years and realize this is potentially the best thing that's ever happened to you. So, and here's why. Because when you're broken up with and you're heartbroken, when this young lady has ripped your heart out, chewed it up and spit it in your face, then that's a bottom. Like, you've hit a dark place, a bottom. And there's a benefit, there's a positive, there's an upside to being flat on your back looking up, is that the only way to go from there is up. You can't go down anymore. That's figuratively. Obviously you can. There's other tragic things that can happen. But in that moment, that's one of the most gut-wrenching, painful moments of a man's life, is having his heart broken and having been rejected like that. Especially if it was something that, you thought was going to be like this lifetime thing and you're so in love, or however it goes. So, in turn, being in that place, there's two things that'll happen to men. I'm going to explain this, then I'll finally get on to the topic. There's two things that'll happen. You're going to stay on your back, right? And you're going to destructively come back around. You're going to survive. Just survive until the pain goes away, because eventually it gets better. And typically the guys who do not put this energy and time and this opportunity, I call it, of pain into, and direct that pain and channel it into something positive, it takes longer to heal from that and get back out in the world again, get your mind right. It takes longer. But those guys will just let the pain subside. They'll do less productive, probably more destructive things to get themselves back to feeling whole again, which I see a lot of guys will revert to, drinking and partying and distracting, going and running and having sex with, everything that moves, just to mask that pain. And eventually the pain subsides. But here's the thing, if you don't do the work and all the things that contributed to that breakup on your end, and you have a part in it, whether guys like to hear that or not, you have a part in that. And if you don't get to the root of that and uncover and correct whatever it is that contributed to that breakup, then it's just going to stay with you and move into the next relationship. And what will happen is guys will have been hurt so bad that they will never face that, but then they'll never put themselves in a position again to be in a long-term, happily committed, healthy relationship because of the risk of that happening again. So they move on through life scared, afraid. They never want to get back into that situation again, so they'll settle. From that moment on, it's mediocre everything. Good enough job, good enough girl, like safe bet, everything. Playing small is what I call it. Small-minded thinking. And playing small. Playing not to lose. Not playing to win, but playing not to lose. And look, if that's the route you take, that's your cross to bear later on in life when you look back and think, damn, I should have went all in when I had the chance. Or it just happens as you get older, you start looking back and you become aware of your mortality, is that I could have packed more into the stream of life. I could have done more. I left some fucking, I definitely left some meat on the bone, so to speak. So that's what'll happen. These guys will get heartbroken. They'll just ride it out, just tolerate the pain till it goes away, get back on their feet, but they'll never put themselves back in that position again. They'll stay in this little comfort zone. I call it the warm zone. It's where men go to die, slow deaths. On the other hand, the guys who come work with me and like-minded men are in so much pain, but they use that pain to channel into leveling up and achieving something great. They'll use that pain for motivation and drive and purpose, and they'll ruthlessly seek purpose and meaning. And with those guys, as they go on, you see, You do that work for 6 months, vigorous work, and take massive action and invest in yourself daily. It takes a while to feel better, but before you know it, 6 months down the line, you've done so much work, you've put so much time in, you've done so many reps, you've done all the introspection, all the inner work that needed to be done. You'll have done the work on a purpose, a career, whatever you have thrown yourself into. You'll have had built a stronger relationship with God. You'll have worked on your body. You'll start seeing results from that. So it's these little victories that you start stacking up through that time between heartbreak and healed or healing, that it's just by default, all these little things that you've done and all the work that you've put in equals a big, massive success. And it just happens like that. It's just the way it works. You have no choice but to have a great result if you've put in hard work. And that's obviously the way I encourage men to go. Because look, there's not too many times in life where you're motivated to do something as to impart a drastic change in your life for the better than when you've had your heart broken. So anyway, and this is actually going to tie into what I want to say, is that the process is hard. And I've had plenty of guys come in the beginning, and most oftentimes in the very beginning, guys are just looking for relief. They just want some reassurance. They just want answers. They just want to hear it's going to be okay. And I've also lost a lot of clients in this. It's usually about a 3 weeks to 5 week span where they'll either stay and hang in and ride it out and do the rest of the work, or they drop off. Look at that, 444. Because when I drop the truth bomb on them and tell them, like, look, this is going to take work. Like, you're going to have to work for this. You're going to have to earn this success. You have to earn this level up. Like, this is not for the meek. You're going to have to go in some dark places mentally, emotionally. You're going to have to do work, uncommon work. That's very uncommon among the population. But that's what's going to set you apart in the long run. This is what's going to make all the difference of who you become out of this moment, is the work you put in. And, you know, I hate to say it, but most people don't have what it takes, don't want to do it. And that's, so here's what comes up is, and this is why I say it's not supposed to be easy, because it'll be like 4 weeks in, and the guy will say, you know, I'm still thinking about her. Should I reach out? And I'm still thinking about it. I'm like, and that's when I have to tell him, like, look, dude, this is not an overnight thing. This is going to take your absolute most. This is going to take every ounce of your energy you got to work through this and push through. And it's going to take all of your time and attention, probably more time and attention than you have for a period. And that's what they don't want to hear that. Everybody thinks there's an easy button, especially in today's culture with, you know, the influencers and the, you know, I see these videos, send her these 3 simple texts to have sex with her tonight, or pick up any girl you want using these 2 simple lines. And it's like, as soon as you see shit like that, make 10 million a month by doing these simple things. Here's something I wish I knew when I was 25. I'm gonna tell you in 3 minutes how to be a millionaire. It's bullshit. That's not reality. It's not how things happen. Anything that is going to be sustainable and quality long term requires time and energy put in. And a lot of it's going to be under the conditions where you really don't feel like doing it. And that's the beauty in it. And know you say, well, how is that beautiful? Because when you get to the other side, you can see why. And that's not something I can explain. I can only tell you that there's no three things I can tell you to get your ex back. There's no secret shortcut to building a physique you want. There's no 3-minute video I can make for you to tell you how to be successful in relationships and make money. I can tell you the process, but nothing is going to be 3 minutes long, I can promise you that. And it's not going to be easy. But that's what separates the wheat from the chaff. And it's a process. At times it's grueling. At other times you find some relief. But it's going to require you to go to places that you probably don't want to go. But that's the answer. That's the key. That's where the secret sauce is. Right in the middle of that funky shit. And I can tell you that because I've been there and I've done it. And there's times that I still have to do it. And everybody who's listened and followed that guideline, that's the only way you can see is if you've done it and if you do it yourself. And, I was just talking to a guy at work, somebody I've known for a long time, and he said, he's standing up and he's asking me about the gym, and he's holding his gut and he's shaking his gut. He's, man, I got to get rid of this. I'm gonna do this and this and this. And he goes, well, he's like, what do you do? How do you eat? I said, fairly well. So how many times you go to the gym a week? I said, right now, 3, sometimes 4. I can squeeze a 4th day. And he's like, what do you do? I do this and this. Immediately comes out the excuses. Oh, well, we work hard, and, my girlfriend wants to spend time. And I'm like, well, that's what it takes. He's like, well, what if I do, he's talking about the carnivore diet. If I go on the carnivore diet for a month and I hit the punching bag and I do sit-ups, like, that's going to do a little bit, but it's not going to be anything noticeable, really. Is it 1 month? No. Like, you got to put time in. And here come the excuses. Oh, well, I got to do this and this and this and this. I'm like, yeah, but you said the other week, like, every day, like one day you went looking at houses. I said, you have a house. Why are you going to look at houses? You said you went out to eat. Well, why not stay home and make something healthy? Why not join a gym? Why not schedule 3 days a week where no matter what, you go to the gym on those days and you commit to staying there for a minimum of 45 minutes. Oh, well, we got this. So and that's what I told him. I said, I don't want your excuses of why you can't do it. Tell me why. Don't tell me all the reasons, all the bullshit. Let's talk about how to do it and that you can do it. And then I get the have to language. Oh, well, I have to do this. I have to go home. I have to listen to my wife. I'm like, no, motherfucker. None of this is a have to. You get to. And just that simple change of attitude and perspective is I get. Changes everything. But I explained to him, he's like, well, how long? I said, years. Like, I've done this shit for years. Oh, well, you did this. I'm like, no, motherfucker, it's not. I did it. I run a business. I'm a trainer, content creator. I raised a child. I worked. I did everything everybody else does and still managed to get my ass to the gym. Read, get help, do the inner work. I did the same shit with the same amount of time everybody else has. And it usually takes that measure of pain and discomfort to shove you forward. We talked about this the other night, that being comfortable. Nothing gets done in the comfort zone. Anybody who's comfortable, it's just enough money, just enough sex, just enough food, just enough of everything. That's the warm zone. That's comfort. In order for change, in order to impart change, there has to be pressure. Either life's pressure or the own pressure you're going to apply to yourself. Nothing changes without pressure. A seed, an acorn, needs pressure to break out of that shell and start growing into a mighty live oak tree. That's pressure. Diamonds, pressure. Anything that's formed is done so by pressure. And that's no different than the human experience. And a man making a change in his life is pressure. And my words for him was, look, the stuff you go through is not supposed to be easy. Easy is why the fuck where you are today, because you took it easy. Now you're 60 pounds overweight and you can't breathe. You can't walk up a flight of fucking stairs. You're all tired and sloppy because you had it easy. Well, you thought you had it easy, but now it's hard. So it's hard being a fat body overweight, and it's hard to get in shape. So pick your fucking hard. Pick the hard way you want to be in. It's hard to start a business from scratch and build an empire, and it's hard to be fucking broke, living paycheck to paycheck. No matter which direction you go in, it's going to be hard, and you're going to expend the same amount of energy in either direction. And my whole point is, it's not supposed to be easy. And that's it. But either you're going to apply that energy to keeping your fucking head above water, or you're going to apply that energy wearing yourself out to do something amazing and have an amazing life that you truly do deserve. But there's no direction you take that's going to be easy. And if it is, you wouldn't appreciate it for shit anyway. So, and this is, the client that came to me about, oh, well, I've been doing this and this. It's been 4 weeks, dude. Like, you got a lot more time to put in before you start seeing some measurable changes here. This is not an overnight thing. You ever seen that quote that said, yeah, it only took me 10 years to be an overnight success? That's what people don't show you, the climb up. You only see the person when they're on the platform, when they're holding the gold. That's all you see. Nobody sees the ascent, what it was like on the way up, on the way to the top. Nobody sees that. There's no audience watching you go to the top. They're only there clapping when you get to the top. And that shouldn't even matter, because it should matter to you. You should be your fucking audience during the process. You gotta be. But that's it. That's what I wanted to say, y'all. That's what I wanted to come on here and communicate. And look, it's not a process of perfection. It's a process of progress. And through the progress, making progress through the process is where you build the little stepping stones that eventually lead to the penthouse. It's the little bitty stairs you take that lead to the top. And if you think about it, and this is the attitude I take, the perspective I take, is that I've fallen in love with the process. I've fallen in love with the daily grind. I've fallen in love with the challenges. challenging myself to do things. Like, believe me, I don't always want to jump on a live at night at the end of the day because I'm tired and I'm this and I'm this. You know, I could give you a million fucking excuses. Now, I was genuinely ill the other night. I really needed the rest because I have too much of a life during the day where I can't afford to be laid up sick in bed. You know, obviously there are exceptions. And the last thing you want is for your body to just say, okay, I quit. Because it takes a lot longer to recover. But hold on, Sweet Bee's got something. She says, I'm working through my heartbreak to make big moves and create a comfortable, peaceful, and healthy life for myself and 3 daughters. I have no other choice but to better everything. Good. Fucking congratulations. There's no better place to be within I have no choice. I have to. That's an amazing place to be in. I've been there. And looking back, man, that gets me excited. Like, shit. I got nowhere else to go. I can only go that way. Like, yes, bring that shit. Tell me you've got no choice. The only way you can go is that way. Let's go. That shit gets me out of bed in the morning, I'm telling you. And I love to hear that. That's when real character is built. This is when real results are gotten. When you have no choice. When there's no fucking plan B. And like I was saying in the live the other night, turn the fucking rearview mirror to the side. There's no need to look back there anymore. Everything you need to do and everything that's for you is straight ahead. That's it. Be where your feet are. Live in the present. Each moment provides you an opportunity as the next step to take. And that's it. And it's going to be a time when it gets hard and you're not going to feel like doing the work. You're not going to want to do the thing you know needs to be done. And that's when you really start breaking through barriers. And really start discovering some shit about yourself. And tapping into that transcendent self. There's your conscious, your subconscious, your higher self, and your transcendent self. Where you're just out of fucking body creating shit. You'll know when you get there. It's like no other feeling and place to be in the world. And the quickest way to get there is to be in a place where I have to. I got no choice. I love it. That shit gets me excited. Good. Get after it, Sweet Pea. Tripathi says the only thing I'm suffering with a relationship is my parents. They don't respect any boundaries, then I feel helpless. No, brother. Change the way you wrote that shit to me. Don't say they don't respect the boundaries. Say, I don't enforce my boundaries. Then I feel like shit. It's not their job to respect your boundary. It's your job to enforce them. Ruthlessly. With anybody. Parents, wife, friends, kids. It's your boundary. Think about that. You can't say my boundaries and they don't. If it's yours, it's yours. Everything belongs to you. Take accountability for that shit. Go write that shit down on paper. It's not their job to respect my boundary. It's my job to enforce said boundaries. And I guarantee you do that shit, you feel better. You won't feel like shit. I've been there. Believe me. The people that have been ahead of me, that have mentored me, and people I still keep in close contact with to this day, have all had the same experience. You got to start somewhere. But that's when you say they don't respect my boundaries, that sounds like you're blaming them and you're putting yourself as some kind of victim. You're not. That's your choice, brother. That's it. I don't know what else to say about that. If you want to do a strategic session about boundary setting and enforcement, schedule a one-on-one. That happens to be one of my specialties. And look, at one time of my life, I didn't have a very healthy self-esteem. I didn't even realize, I didn't even know that that's what I was doing, was allowing myself to be walked on repeatedly. I'd always mistaken being kind with being accommodating to everyone. There's a difference. Being kind does not necessarily equate to being ultra accommodating. Sometimes being kind means saying no, and that's not happening. Or don't speak to me like that. Or we're not going to do that around here anymore. And if it does happen again, here's the penalty. Here's the consequence of crossing this boundary. Here's what this looks like. And boom, you got to be there to enforce the boundary and impart that consequence. It takes a little practice, but you get used to it. I promise you, it becomes easy. Surat, I was 16 when I left home. I got kicked out of my house at 16. No, I'm not generated by AI. It's me. I'm for real, I promise you. If I was AI, I would be sitting in the back seat letting the chauffeur drive me while I did this live. I was 16 years old, sweet pea. I live alone and do an MBA with a job. But they come unannounced and lie a lot. They have crossed 60. Their behavior is very different from what it was 5 years ago. Thank you, Sabrina. Well, Tripathi, you need to get in touch with me, email or DM me on Instagram. I have your answer. There's a solution to that. All right, well, guys, I need to get off now. I'm glad I got to come on here for a minute and make this live. I've been wanting to talk about this. And, you know, it's weird how God works. That I just had this conversation about an hour and a half ago, right before I'm getting into my truck to leave. Then I don't have phone calls to make. I don't have anywhere to be in between the job and home. So it just gave me a great opportunity to talk about this. Thank you, The Lost. I was glad to be able to do so. And thank y'all for coming in. And look, if you haven't yet, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. I will be going live tonight, later, for the 100 push-up, 100 days challenge. The link is in the description also if you want to join up. Just 100 push-ups a day. I don't care if you do an increment of 2. Just get 100 done a day. You go into the Telegram group, check in, thumbs up. Done for the day. And that's it, y'all. Oh, please, everybody, listen up. After this live is over, when I end it, go back into my comment section and say something in there. Even if you do a thumbs up emoji or something. And I would really like to see my channel back and higher in the algorithm. Here's the thing. The more I grow this channel, the more it gets out to people who need it. And I don't know. I'm not a tech guy. I don't know too much about the technology and how all this stuff works. But I can't see how, if people are commenting on my videos and participating in lives and hitting subscribes and all, that they can ignore that for too long. So that could be an amazing way for people to contribute. And I would very much appreciate it. So with that, I'll see y'all tonight, and have a great rest of your day till tonight. Later.